The time is 9 o'clock. You're listening to CHMA 106.9 FM in Sackville, New Brunswick.
And now it's time for your CHMA News. We're broadcasting from Sackville, New Brunswick, the heart of the Maritimes and the traditional and unceded lands of the Mi'kmaq people. Coming up in the next 15 minutes, we'll have your local news, Atlantic update, weather, sports update, and some community announcements.
This is Laura McMillan with your CHMA local news. This Friday, November 15th, is the first Moonlight Madness in Sackville, with wagon rides, bring your own mug for hot chocolate on Bridge Street, a community sing-along at 5:30 p.m., and tree lighting and Santa arriving at 6 p.m. in Bill Johnstone Memorial Park. There is something in this community evening for all. To see a list of all businesses and organizations participating in this Shop Local experience, visit tantrumrnb.com/Moonlight Madness. At the end of October, the New Brunswick government unveiled a new 5-year plan for tourism in the province. Titled Fresh Perspective, New Brunswick Tourism Strategy 2026 to 2031, the plan aims to increase annual tourism revenues by $1 billion, reaching $3.7 billion within 5 years. This new strategy is the result of a public consultation which included more than 8,600 responses to a survey and regional sessions with Indigenous communities, industry partners, and operators. The plan has 10 main priorities, which focus on showcasing all seasons and regions of the province, promoting outdoor adventures, celebrating Acadian and Indigenous cultures, supporting wellness, and bringing more events to more communities. Tourism in New Brunswick generates $2.7 billion per year for the provincial economy and supports tens of thousands of jobs. In Straight Shores, former municipal councillor Andy McGregor has been spearheading a new tourism committee. I had an opportunity to sit down with Andy to talk about how this new initiative in the community is taking shape.
At a council meeting on February 10th, I introduced a motion to create a tourism subcommittee as part of my portfolio responsible for tourism and to try and create an advanced tourism within Straight Shores. I think it was shortly after that, probably March, or I think it was March or April, I put a notice on Facebook that I was going to hold a meeting at the Cape Tormentine Legion to discuss tourism in Straight Shores and ask for interested citizens who want to participate to show up, and there was a good response, and that's what we evolved from that meeting to the tourism committee we have today.
And how many members do you have?
12, including myself right now.
You've been meeting for about 6 months now. How often have you been meeting, and what have your meetings consisted of so far?
We meet once a month on the first Tuesday of the month. And we started out pretty loosey-goosey, just throwing some ideas, what we thought were potential goals and things to pursue, and then gradually narrowed that down. And now we have some very specific goals that we're pursuing and trying to bring into existence. So it's a month-by-month thing, but we do have some things on the radar right now that we're working on.
What are your main objectives right now?
Currently, we're just trying to draw awareness to Straight Shores. We have lots of assets here in Straight Shores. We've got 120 kilometers of shoreline, and we got great beaches. And so we're trying to open up some public right-of-ways and public access points to the beaches, which will help bring people into the community. We have the warmest waters in the Northumberland Strait, and we got great beaches. Trails are great for ATV and snowmobiling. We're trying to promote hiking on the trails, biking on the trails. So those are two big things that we see that are underutilized here. And just public awareness to Straight Shores, where Straight Shores is, and different things that are available here. We have, I think, 60 plus vacation property operators, and most of those operators have their own public access to their own beaches in front of their properties. So there's tremendous opportunity here. And being located in the basically central of the Maritimes, we're trying to make maybe Strait Shores home base for your maritime holidays. We're right in the middle between Halifax and Charlottetown and all points maritime. We're sitting right in the middle. If you could make people aware of that and use Strait Shores as your home base for your maritime holiday, there'd be some big advantages to that. We've got some people we've tried to align ourselves with in the province and the community. We've been working in conjunction with the Southeast Regional Service Commission. We've been working closely with the municipal office here in Port Elgin, Strait Shores. We've had communication with GROW Strait Shores, which is a local business development group. And we've had some communication with the Regional Development Corporation about some possibilities there. So we have a meeting on Friday, next Friday, the 14th, with the Regional Development Corporation, our supervisor, and CAO to discuss some possible funding opportunities for our group.
What do you see as being the major challenges to tourism in Strait Shores right now?
It's just small steps. Everything starts with an idea. We got 12 people who are trying to make a difference in the community, and going from an idea, talking about it, getting a proposal, talking to the decision makers, trying to get funding. It's a process, and you have to be willing to take it from an idea to completion, and it takes time and energy and a desire. And we all have the desire, and it's just a matter of time to make it a reality.
That was Andy McGregor, former councillor and resident of Strait Shores, talking about the Tourism Committee of Strait Shores. And that's it for your local news. For CHMA, I'm Lara McMillan.
Hey, this is Pallavi Saw from India, and you're listening to CHMA.
And here is your CHMA Atlantic update for Wednesday, November 12th. The PEI district of Georgetown-Pronal will head to the polls on December 8th. Stephen Myers, former Minister of Housing, previously held the seat but resigned on October 3rd. The deadline for nominations is November 21st. Elections PEI says all eligible voters should receive a voter information card in the mail before the first advance voting day on November 29th. Environment Canada has several special weather statements for rain, wind, and even snow expected across Newfoundland and Labrador today and into tomorrow. Strong winds are expected in the central and eastern regions, with winds forecasted up to 120 kilometers along the coast. Total rainfall will be between 40 and 60 millimeters. Environment Canada is warning of a risk of washout, localized flooding, and damage to road shoulders. Staff at a fourth long-term care home in Nova Scotia have voted unanimously in favor of a strike. Workers at the Meadows in Yarmouth voted 100% to strike if negotiations with the province fail. This care home is one of 52 around the province, all of which are taking their own strike votes in the coming weeks as contract negotiations continue. The union says they are overworked and understaffed, and they called for higher wages and more efforts put towards hiring and retention. And Prime Minister Mark Carney was in Fredericton on Monday, making an announcement on Major Projects Office. He told reporters the next tranche of projects the government has referred to the main projects office for review will be announced tomorrow, Thursday. These projects will be reviewed and returned with recommendations to the government, which has the final say on whether to give it the designation. So far, none of the first 5 projects sent for consideration received the National Interest designation. And the Women's Professional Hockey League is coming to Halifax. The league has announced 2 games at the Scotiabank Centre, which with tickets on sale at to the general public next Friday. On December 17th, the Toronto Scepters and the Montreal Victoire will go head to head at 7:30 Atlantic, followed by the Ottawa Charge and Boston Fleet on January 11th at 1 p.m. It's part of the PWHL Takeover Tour to give fans a chance to experience the competitiveness of the regular season in their own communities. And construction will start on a new breakwater in southeast Newfoundland this fall. The provincial government announced that a new breakwater in Trepassey is a priority after repeated storms have damaged the region. The province and the town of Trepassey have worked together on the engineering plans and hope to launch the project as soon as possible. Tender for the contract will be awarded soon. And up next is your just hold on one second, folks. We'll get into the weather, but tune in again for an updated news Atlantic update at 12 o'clock and 5 o'clock later today.
And now the weather. Today, mainly cloudy, 30% chance of flurries earlier this morning. Clearing earlier this morning. Wind southwest, 30 kilometers an hour, gusting to 50. High +4, UV index 1 or low. Tonight, increasing cloudiness this evening. Wind southwest, 20 kilometers an hour, gusting to 40, becoming light this evening, low -1. Tomorrow, Thursday, November 13th, cloudy, 60% chance of showers in the afternoon, high +4, UV index 1 or low. Thursday night, periods of snow or rain, low 0. Friday, November 14th, cloudy, high +2. Friday night, clear, low -6.
Hey, this is Alex from Sackville, and you're listening to CHMA.
And here's Brian Nielsen with your CHMA Sports Update.
Last night in the NBA, 6 games to tell you about, starting with the Toronto Raptors moving 1 game above 500 on the season, moving their record to 6-5 with a 119-109 victory over the hapless Brooklyn Nets. New York Knicks with the 133-120 victory over the Memphis Grizzlies at home. It was the Philadelphia 76ers surviving a late 3-point attempt to defeat the visiting Boston Celtics 102-100. Thunder all over the Warriors at home in OKC, where they stay undefeated with a 126-102 victory. Jazz against the Indiana Pacers in a defense optional game win 152-128. And in the late game, Nikola Jokic with 35 points and 15 rebounds led the Denver Chicken Nuggets to a victory over the Sacramento Kings for their 5th in a row, 122-108. Turning our attention to the frozen water. The ice surface, indeed, at the TD Garden Boston saw the Bruins defeat the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-3. Kings defeat the Canadiens on the road 5-1 at the Bell Centre in downtown Montreal. It was the Dallas Stars with a 3-2 victory over the Ottawa Senators in overtime. Capitals all over the Hurricanes, 4-1 victory for the Washington squad. The St. Louis Blues complete the victory over the visiting Calgary Flames 3-2, ensuring that Calgary is in fact the worst team in the NHL right now with a record of 4 wins, 12 losses, and 2 overtime decisions. Overtime happened in Minnesota, where the San Jose Sharks defeat the Minnesota Wild 2-1, 4-1 victory for Colorado over the surprising Anaheim Ducks. Jets defeat the Canucks in the Lower Mainland 5-3 final for Winnipeg, and in the late game it was a shootout at Climate Pledge Arena in Seattle. The Columbus Blue Jackets defeating the Seattle Kraken 2-1, and at home tonight, puck drop at 7 p.m. The Mount Allison Mounties women's ice hockey team squares off against the St. Thomas Tommies.
And that's Brian Nielsen with your CHMA Sports Update. Please be sure to check out Brian's show on Mondays at 8:30 a.m. for more sports commentary. And now for some community updates. As Laura mentioned, it is Moonlight Madness this Friday, the 14th, and there's a lot going on. But before we get into that, I'm just going to do a quick little update. There was a road closure that I mentioned just before 9. I'll let you know about that again. It's over in Dorchester, Cape Road, civic address 3508. And it's closed from 9 a.m. Today until 5 p.m. tomorrow. And there is a detour in place, and the closure is necessary for the installation of a water and sewer service. So they apologize for the inconvenience. It's got to happen, and today and tomorrow it'll be happening. This Friday, November 14th, is going to be a tree lighting ceremony. Moonlight Madness kicks off pretty early. I guess around 5:30. They're going to have a community sing-along. I'm just going through the brochure that you can pick up anywhere around town. They have the community sing-along at 5:30, caroling and all that stuff. A projector and a screen will be set up so you can sing along to the lyrics, and Santa will be showing up around 6. So come out for that. It's going to be a wonderful evening. There's also a general notice on the brochure that says bring your own mug for a free hot chocolate on Bridge Street, and that's a common occurrence. That is a wonderful tradition. I love getting some hot chocolate down there. Sackville Library is going to have activities at 6, and they'll be doing some activities and crafts from 6 to 8. And the Mount Allison guest music recital, Taya Kasharahara is doing a Project T, a mixtape at Brunton Auditorium at 7:30 p.m. that you can check out. There are tickets for that, $15 at the door, and $10 free for Mount A students. And there's also going to be a Sean Cullen Memorial Titan Your Skates hockey tournament. That's November 14th to 16th over at the TVMCC, and cheer on your Titan girls to victory. Sorry. There's also going to be wagon rides at Ford Lane and Main Street, and food bank donation boxes. There'll be a long list of participating businesses, and they'll, as usual, be staying open later and doing lots of fun things. So, pick up the brochure. You can also get all this information at tanchmarnb.com. All right, there's some local updates for you. Let's get back into some music, but before we do, I got a couple of announcements from the CHMA staff.
Hey Sackville, come join the Mount A Service Sociology students for a soup and sandwich social at the Sackville Legion on Friday, November 28th from 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. All proceeds support Daybreak Activity Center and Open Sky Co-op. Enjoy live music, a silent auction and raffle, and learn about the amazing community work these groups do. Entry is $10 per person, cash at the door, and everyone's welcome. Reserve your spot online or email cveinotte@mta.ca, and don't forget to bring a donation for the Sackville Food Bank. Dear listeners, I have something exciting for you all. Don't miss the annual Heart and Pocket Rev Independent Craft Market happening on Saturday, November 22nd at the Sackville Legion from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Discover beautiful handmade creations from talented regional and national artists and artisans. The perfect place to find unique gifts and support local makers. Come shop, connect, and celebrate creativity at this vibrant community event.
And that was your CHMA News. Please visit www.chmafm.com for more news and to sign up for our email newsletter. Funding is provided by our monthly sustainers, the Community Radio Fund of Canada, and the Municipality of Tanchmar's Community Development Grant. If you have a story idea or would like to include an announcement, please write us at news@chmafm.com. Okay, dear listener, let's get back into some music. I have some Joe Ray McDonald with Rodeo Sun coming up Wednesday, with Elderberry Wine, and the Eisenhowers with Well, My Dear, and Dean Johnson with Before You Hit the Ground. all here on the Voice of the Marshes. And I will be back after a couple of tracks with some more community updates, taking you into the 9:30 mark. Here we go.
Sometimes I just wanna take my fists and bash them on the things that I did. And I wonder how you can love a man I've come to hate and cannot stand. It's a murder ballad I hear in my head. Well, people keep telling me I ain't yet dead. The kitchen still smells of fresh baked bread, and I miss them days when they called me red. Rodeo son, cowboy hands, rather work the body than take commands. Take a long road home, rodeo son, long gone. Happy blaze my trail, being alone. Well, people keep talking, but I retreat. Just an angry kid, quick on his feet. She's probably back home thinking of us, but I ain't got the sense to get off of this truss. It's a fuss you make anytime there's a turn. The road keeps winding and the rope still burns. It's a slow climb up and a long ways down. It's blood for blood when you're earning the crown. Rodeo son, cowboy hands, rather work the body than take commands. Take a long road home, rodeo son, long gone. Happy blaze my trail, being alone.
Sweet song is a long con. I drove you to the airport with the e-brake on. Ain't heard that voice in a long time. Had to check back there to make sure you were alive. Angel hum of an electric car reverses toward me. Sometimes in my head I give up and flip the board completely. But everybody gets a
And that was Elderberry Wine from the group Wednesday. Before that, Joe Ray McDonald with Rodeo Sun. Going to finish off the second half of the morning show with the Eisenhowers' Well, My Dear, here on the Voice of the Marshes. Taking you into 10 o'clock, I also have some Cape Brett with Coca-Cola, Big Thief with Los Angeles, Lauren McFarlane with All That's Left, Luna L with Heart of a Storm, and Georgia Harmer with Eye of a Storm. Here on the Voice of the Marshes. And I usually do this after the community updates. I'm going to give you a rundown of what you can expect today on the Voice of the Marshes. Coming up at 10 o'clock, it's a Wednesday, so our community programming for 10 a.m. is Wings. And after that, we'll have Eric Gohill up at 11. 12, we'll have Siley Sringapore, 12 to 1, Democracy Now! As usual at 1 p.m. Moving on from Sumner Pellegrini to Power from 2 to 4. Craig Mavasa up at 4 p.m. 5 is Maya Noel with Live at 5. And that starts into our volunteer programming with Cool Pop with Kirk Ferguson at 6 o'clock. Blue Enchilada with Reuven Majithia at 7 p.m. And Jim and Kathy Murphy with Heart of a Songwriter, and Hannah McFarlane with Hannah's Country Show at 9 p.m. And then finishing off our Wednesday will be Spare Room Tunes with Sonia Noel. So it's a wonderful day to listen through and through to the radio. And if I'm correct, that means that, with Summoner taking the 2 to 4 slot on Wednesdays, then that is purely community-driven radio until 11 o'clock tonight, which I think is pretty incredible to have every hour filled. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. I will see you again tomorrow at 8:30 with Brian Nielsen and the Sports Update. This is Well, My Dear from the Eisenhowers.